Frank, can you pull up the first image that we had on deck there so we can announce the first team that is going to be joining? And I think it's their first time ever joining the tournament. The Canes of West Hampton. So who do you have featured on that? Who's that picture right there, number 8?
Belle Smith, the 3-sport superstar athlete, and Belle is a one of the top 2-3 players in the country this year.
She hangs out with sharks in her spare time.
She does. We did a great shark feature with her over the summer. You can check out the News 12 Sports Rush Instagram page if you want to see that. But no, she's not just a good lacrosse player. That's like the cool thing about Belle Smith.
Yeah.
She's an unbelievable volleyball player. She's an unbelievable basketball player, and she's a great lacrosse player, and she's a great person.
Yeah.
And we had an opening, and we said, all right, they're not your traditional lacrosse powerhouse, but let's get Belle and West Hampton in this tournament. So
yeah, I think that's a great move.
They got a good youngster that just Mo Duffy.
Mo Duffy.
Who committed to Virginia.
They have a lot of really good players. Like they'll be whoever they play. They're competing against yet?
I think we have the schedule.
Okay.
We could put it up at the end.
Yeah, I don't know if I loaded that image in, so I apologize if we did. But either way, like whoever they play, they'll be competitive against.
Yeah.
And like I think having Belle was one of the best players, not just right now in Long Island, but in the world, leading the USA team to a gold with Casey.
Yeah.
Like she's a good pickup. So
really
cool to have West
We
Hampton.
want to get all the young girls there to see this talent.
Yeah.
Because you can aspire. I mean, if you want to aspire to be a young lady, that's a young lady you want to aspire to be.
Yes.
Let's pull up the second image. This is, I believe, a new team as well, hopefully. Well, at least they weren't in it last year.
So St. Anthony's has not been in it the past couple of years, but they were in it before. And listen, they're one of the best teams around. How can you have a Long Island lacrosse tournament and not have St. Anthony's in it?
They have so much talent in that school. Like this picture that we took at the LILJ was actually from the championship game against Sacred Heart last year. A great game. And I've never seen so many talented girls on one team that we saw in St. Anthony's last year. So like, not for anything. If you just want to go watch great players that are, curated from all over Long Island on one team, St. Anthony's is the team. So we're excited to see them in this event.
I mean, a young lady who was in the final 30 on the USA team, Katie D. Simone.
Yeah,
you want to talk about a girl who's a wizard.
What's that? Oh yeah, sure.
Let me get the matchups here. So
you got it. So let's while you look up those matchups, let's pull up the third team. And my dad and I can rant for days on the Syosset Braves.
Is that Halpern?
That's actually Talon Stadler.
Oh, the girl at Penn.
She's at Penn now.
Brand new to the tournament this year.
Brand new to the tournament. Coach Lomo, who's a home run.
Right.
She always is competitive because she's a great coach. She's a player's coach. The girls love her. And they have one of the best girls on Long Island on their team this year, Kendall Halpern.
Yes.
Who we're excited to see as well. She's
going to Northwestern.
She's a standout.
And another one we mentioned with Belle Smith, she's an excellent basketball player. I mean, she's a good athlete.
Soccer player.
Yeah, she's soccer.
Great soccer story about her.
Yeah, she's that is a good story.
She's a field player rap. Last year, they had a penalty kick thing, at the end of a game.
Sure.
They stuck her in the goal, and she made the save and scored the game winner.
I love that's what I love. I love having great athletes. It's more than just lacrosse players are great, but when you can talk about them all year round, like we do, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Because get to see how good they really are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what's
one
cool
of the things
too.
We do in the LALJ is we promote high school athletes, and we always promote the multi-sport athletes.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
She said, I was talking to Kendall about that. She said that was her greatest like sports moment in high school.
The soccer moment.
Yeah, and she's going to college to play lacrosse.
She's going to play for the USA coach, Kelly Amonte Hiller at Northwestern, which is one of the most beautiful schools I've ever visited.
Frankie, let's pull up the next one. This is a new team to this year, but they were in a couple years ago.
There's Pav.
We got the Tigers of Northport. That's actually that's
Connor.
Olivia.
Sorry, that's Connor.
Yeah, Pav. I think Pav's number 11. I could be wrong, but either way.
No, that is Connor.
Northport's back. They had the Louis Giacompora Foundation, I think, game last year, so it conflicted, so they missed it.
All right, so we'll update because I have so much going on in my brain. I can't remember everything. Northport is playing Summit of New Jersey.
Okay.
Summit won the TOC. If anybody doesn't know, the TOC is their tournament of champions.
Okay.
So how Jersey does it is they do their state championships, and then they take all the 4 state champions and put them against each other and crown one overall champion, something New York does not do.
We got to do that.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, Summit won the whole thing, and they weren't in it last year. They had a scheduling conflict. but they're back this year. An excellent test, an excellent Jersey team. St. Anthony's is playing Ridgewood, as we mentioned. And then who else did we? Oh, ESM.
No, we didn't do ESM yet.
We haven't gotten there, so we mentioned Syosset.
Oh, Syosset's playing Bronxville, a perennial power in New York State from Westchester, who was up in the state Final Four every year.
Who's West Hampton playing?
And West Hampton Beach is playing Suffern.
Okay.
Another
Rockland
Westchester
County
power.
They played Mattituck last year,
Yep.
I think.
Suffern was in the state Final Four last year. They were in Class B. They're back up in Class A this year. And I think they bring every girl. Maybe they graduated one person from the state Final Four team a year ago. So, I mean, these other teams are loaded.
Cool.
Do you look at that when you start thinking about the teams?
I do. So one thing I don't like to do is if you're, especially if you're a New York team, I don't want to match up a team that could play each other in the state Final Four.
Yeah.
So a Class A team will never play another Class A team because I just don't think it's fair. You know, it's hard to beat a team twice in a year. So I always try to mix it up. The Jersey teams, it really doesn't matter. But like anything else, you have some awesome teams and some really good teams, and you try to make it so no team gets blown out.
Right.
A couple years ago, the Ridgewood ESM game I was surprised because they were both like high level teams, but you try to make it so every game is competitive. So I think I did it. Who knows?
Sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Last year was great. So
Well, we're going to set up there and do a whole pre and post game, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
we'll talk about. So Frank, do the next image for me if you don't mind. These are some of the 4 repeat teams.
Okay.
The Cold Spring Harbor Seahawks, obviously.
The host. They're in it every year. They have to be in it every year because it's their school.
Sure.
But we want them in it every year because
They're awesome.
They're awesome. 2-time defending state champions. They are playing New Canaan of Connecticut, who won a Connecticut state championship not last year, but the year before that.
Okay, cool. And who we got next there, Frank? All right, these are the Long Island Sacred Heart girls.
Long Island Sacred Heart girls, they've now been in it 2 or 3 years in a row. An excellent team. They won the Catholic League title 2 years ago.
Yep.
They are playing another new team to the tournament this year, Sacred Heart of Connecticut, who I didn't know much about, but I heard they're a very good team, new coach. They were eager to test themselves against good competition. That's what, it's interesting because every time like I reach out to these coaches now, they're like, yeah, we want to be a part of it because we want to test ourselves.
Right.
I don't like when coaches run away. I mean, why would you run away from good competition? I get some of that now. We're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's a non-league game.
Yeah.
Come play. Get better. It only can make you better at the end, right?
100%.
Well, I can tell you one thing. The coach at Sacred Heart on Long Island, I know her family for over
Morgan?
20 years.
She's great.
Well, I don't know if you know her brothers. I coached her brothers.
Sure.
The Molinari family could be one of those families. We're going to be doing. That's something that our Ryan Myers came up with, like the best lacrosse family.
Yeah.
On Long Island, that Molinari family is up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe when we get to spring, we'll like rank the all-time great like lacrosse families.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, 100%.
We do that.
Yeah.
Molinaris would be. I'll be talking
rank
about
everything.
family. Both genders.
Start ranking T-shirts. And
Perfect.
Molinaris. I want to rank which is the best Molinari of all the Molinaris.
It could be the
Morgan's
coach.
probably
Morgan.
number 1.
It could be Morgan.
Morgan. She's the best.
I would say Morgan, Terrence, Cullen, Jeffrey.
We're going old school. Wow.
I'm serious.
Poor Jeffrey.
But Jeffrey didn't play in college because he had a concussion problem. He was great in high school, though.
They were all great.
Yeah.
They were all great in high school.
All right.
And a really nice mom.
Let's move on to who's after Sacred Heart here, Frank. I think we have 2 more. All right, so we got the Mustangs of Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai. Now, it's funny with them, for the first few years of the tournament, they didn't want to be not that I shouldn't say they didn't want to be a part of it. They weren't a part of it for one reason or another. And then I pulled Coach Bird aside, and I was like, Al, I've known you for a long time. Like, I got all these great teams here. There's one missing. You. You're winning all these state titles. You need to be a part of this tournament. So last year they were in it, and this year they're playing Darien, Connecticut's premier team. Actually, I believe Lisa Lindley, the Darien coach, said to me, we want Mount Sinai.
Oh.
Wow.
So it's a good little matchup.
Jenny Markey, you hear that? Did you say Sean Markey was listening? Is he still on? Cliffy, you see Sean Markey on that? Is he still talking? Tell his girl Jen to come to play.
Yeah, it's going to be a big
She
one
can
for
play, dude.
Last but not least, we have
The last team?
The one I ruined a few minutes ago.
the spoiler alert, Sharks of ESM.
Yeah.
Logo courtesy of someone, I think, in their school who drew that.
Becky
No Casey, but I think they're still an excellent team. Their goalie is off the charts.
Valley, you got Massera.
Yeah.
I mean Massera's one of the best. She's a stud. They have talent for days, and then
they just got to transfer.
The
girls are getting transfers.
They just got to transfer,
and they are playing another new team, Mendham from Jersey, who I found out about. My Jersey sources told me, hey, let's get Mendham in it this year because they're up and coming. They're ready to really make their mark this year. So I said, all right, make your mark against ESM.
Do you remember who the Mendham coach was off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I can't believe. Yeah, I have it in here, but I can't remember.
I'm wondering because I think a friend of mine's wife used to coach that team. Charlie's wife used to be the Mendham coach, I believe.
Gotcha.
I just lost the page. Now I hope she's not watching because she's going to say to me, "How could you not remember my name?"
I didn't mean to do that to you.
You just put me on the spot.
I don't know if she's still coaching this. She's got a bunch. They have like 5 kids.
Let's talk a little about what else we're going to be doing at the event to help promote it. You mentioned earlier about the pre and post game shows.
Yeah, we'll have our high school game day crew there. We'll have obviously Cliff and Frankie there, and we'll be interviewing all the best players after the games and the coaches and stuff like that. And then we're working on a youth clinic. We're not going to talk about it until we speak to a couple of our friends. Mm-hmm. But we might have a youth clinic that day with some pretty good lacrosse players.
I also think we should do a special award in honor of Courtney.
Okay.
I think we can do it. I think we can do the Player of the Games awards in honor of her,
idea.
Or maybe potentially not necessarily the player of the game, but maybe the player that best represents who Courtney was.
There you go.
For each and every game.
Well, maybe we reach out to the coaches.
Maybe the coaches can give us some insight on that.
Like we do at Wells Crowther.
Right.
Because Courtney was obviously an unbelievable human being.
Yeah.
And say, do we have any, just talk about Courtney, give a little bio on it, and then the coaches could just, it could be their best kid, it could be the kid who doesn't see the field.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's more. I'm more in lines of that. Like, it's more about what's.
Well, we could talk to that person before the game, and then after the game, talk to the people that performed well.
Yeah, I like that.
I just want to get the entire lacrosse community out there.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody out there. It's just a fun day. And we know you're not going to stay for 10 hours because it starts at noon and the last game's at 7. But just come out for a couple hours.
Watch your team play.
Come out, watch your team play, watch some great lacrosse, make a donation, buy some cookies or cupcakes or some of the crazy stuff my wife makes. We barbecue, so it's a great day. I mean, it's a fun day. As long as the weather holds out.
Yeah.
Well, if the weather doesn't hold out, we've had some bad days, but the weather holds out is nothing better than just watching lacrosse all day, right?
Yeah. No, I